Welcome to our last session of the workshop. Unfortunately, Ada has some exams, so she couldn't be joining us for today. So I'll be taking over our last day, our end project presentation wrapping up. So for today, we're gonna have some individual project presentations, and we're gonna have some reflections, and I'm going to talk about some future opportunities that from Future Unchained, as well as from Homayra's organization. I'm going to talk about that later. So let's start with our project presentations. I listed everyone in alphabetical order. So Amy, would you like to share your screen? So I know some of you made it as presentation. So for those people, you guys can take your time and explain your project. But for those who made it in like PDF forms, you can just briefly talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes. So it depends on you and everything. So yeah, I'm gonna stop sharing the screen. Okay, Amy, you can go ahead. Are you good with all the screen sharing and everything?
I can't find I can't see my, like,
Okay. For those after, it'll be great if you guys like have your stuff open before, so it's okay, take your time.
for some reason, I can't share my screen.
Wait, let me change the I think it's for all participants right now. Can try.
You see my screen? Okay. So, my project is on mental trauma of child abuse and trafficking survivors. So, survivors may suffer from complex post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, depression, panic attacks, suicidal ideation, and Stockholm syndrome. And the complex post-traumatic stress disorder is a condition resulting from prolonged trauma from which they cannot escape. It characterized by symptoms similar to PTSD, but is usually more severe, and the disorder is difficult to treat. And suicidal ideation is a common challenge for survivors of human trafficking due to the prevailing sense of isolation. The trauma they experienced could lead to suicidal thoughts, a risk exacerbated by the isolation they felt even after being released from slavery. And Stockholm Syndrome is a phenomenon where survivors feel close to and sympathetic toward their traffickers, further complicates recovery. While it might have helped them endure their enslavement, it hinders their ability to seek help and cooperate with authorities after release. And efforts to aid in recovery must have comprehensive and holistic, addressing mental and emotional health issues while maintaining personal safety. Trauma-related mental health care should be person-centered and culturally appropriate, as survivors often find it difficult to build trust due to past experiences of betrayal and abuse. And I listed a few resources available to meet the mental health needs of survivors, such as the National Human Trafficking Hotline, the National Suicide Prevention Hotline, and in addition to individual therapy, group therapy and support groups can be such as those provided by organizations like NCAN can be invaluable in creating a safe space for survivors to share experiences, seek support, and learn from others facing similar challenges. And that's it.
Thank you so much. And oh, okay.
Oh,
It's a very detailed report. And may I please ask what inspired you to choose this topic, and like out of all the topics, what made you um interested in this and do more research on it?
um, because probably because I love psychology.
Yeah. Then you must learn a lot from like this session 2 days ago with Homayra, where she talked about the brain and everything.
Yeah.
And if I would give an advice, I would say next time, because if we want to use this for a publication for our website, then it might be a bit better if you can add the sources and like citations and stuff. But aside from that, it's a very good detailed report, and thank you so much for it.
Thank you.
Okay, who's next? Ali, can you please share your screen and your project? Are you there? Okay, never mind. We'll come back to Ali after. And who's next? Bill, I believe. Bill, can you please share your screen? Wait, sorry, Bill. I think, wait, is it only me, or like, can anyone hear him?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, a bit better.
Okay. So mine was on I did some research on the effects of health on the effects of human trafficking on the victim's health. Um, Mainly the types of impact that might that human trafficking might have. A lot of bad stuff. Um, Fatigue, headaches, reproductive problems, back pain, um, as well as for victims of labor trafficking, stuff like exhaustion, repetitive motion syndromes, stuff that might be caused by bad working conditions or unsafe or um, unsafe locations. So that's the physical health problems. There's also mental health problems that tend to persist a lot longer than physical symptoms would. Uh, I, I believe Amy said something about Stockholm syndrome, right? I didn't do much. I didn't look that much into that. Um, so so mental health problems might include depression, PTSD, anxiety, hopelessness, suicidal ideations, or addiction, as well as social withdrawal, and because of the stigma around whether around being trafficked or around the mental health issues that they might develop, there's a lot of stigma that can lead to social isolation. Um, there's also memory loss, which I think that was something that uh, I think that was something that was part of the workshop a few days ago uh, about the psychology part, memory loss because of trauma, um, and victims will become distrustful of other people because of being trafficked and not receiving help. Sometimes because of the authorities being corrupt. Um, Victims also face challenges in regards to getting help. Like for example, the health workers might not have sufficient training for helping human trafficking victims, and there might just not be adequate facilities or resources to help them. This isn't related to health, but people who have been trafficked might not have their documents, of course, so that'll also make it harder to get help. Um, there's a, I also found that male victims are interestingly more likely to refuse to be identified as victims, uh, which can make it difficult for them to get help, even if they need it, because they refuse to believe that they themselves need it. Uh, I think I already said most of this actually. So that's what I have.
Thank you so much. It's a very, very detailed and oh, what app is this? It's so cool. It's like all the colors and everything.
It's Obsidian.
Oh,
It,
I've
it's
never seen something like that before. It's so cool. Well, anyways, it's very detailed and thank you so much for your explanation. Um, yeah, so nothing else to say. And you have all the sources and everything. So yeah, thank you so much. Now should we move on to the next one? Um, is I don't think she's here, so okay, next one, Jessica. Okay, she's not here either. Kat. Mhm. Hey, okay, sorry. So let me see what I can do here. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? I don't want to do that. Slideshow. Okay, so I did my presentation like slideshow style, and I wanted to do it on labor trafficking because this is a area that I wasn't so well educated on, and honestly I still feel like there's a lot more areas that I need to know more on in this category. However, this movie that I watched a couple weeks ago really stood out to me, so I really wanted to do it based on that. And it's called Made in Hell. Can you guys see? Sorry, I don't know. I don't know if this thing is in the way.
Yeah. Mhm.
But oh my gosh, the National Human Trafficking Hotline describes labor trafficking as domestic work situation when the employer uses force, fraud, coercion to maintain control over the worker to cause the worker to believe that he or she has no choice but to continue with the work. This is important for the movie because in the movie, what essentially happens is organizations based in Lebanon and Saudi Arabia hire domestic workers, usually women, from the Philippines and East African countries like Kenya, who are typically from smaller villages. They're looking for girls that are illiterate, and they basically say, hey, you're going to be receiving a payment of $100 for every month that you work, and they work 24 hours a day, basically. You're going to be paid $100 a month by your employer. Your passport gets taken away from you as soon as you arrive in wherever you are placed in the Middle East, and these girls basically endure human torture. So this is just a screenshot from the film. Sorry, trigger warning that it's a little bit terrifying, but there's been so much documentation on what goes on with these domestic workers when they travel. And so far that a lot of the people that are returning to their home countries, such as Kenya, there's one woman in particular described in the film, Mary. She was returned to her family burned to a crisp. She was suffering burns all over her body, but she did not survive. So they returned her home dead, unfortunately. Another woman became completely mute after the torture that she had endured, and these people have never been paid either. So for the woman who is now mute, she can't even begin to explain to her village what has happened to her because she can't talk. She tries to express it through sounds and through actions, but even after kind of showing the actions, she becomes very overwhelmed and triggered and cannot really move forward. So there's been a lot of advocacy, especially coming out of Kenya from a female senator. Her name is slipping my mind, but she's an incredible person regarding this issue. But she has tried very, very hard to make it illegal for her citizens, especially female citizens, to be traveling to these countries, as well as just like spreading as much awareness and publication that this stuff is going on. Double check who your employer is and what organization they're coming from and what kind of domestic work you're going to be doing, and whether or not your passport is going to be taken away from you, because as soon as your personal legal documents are taken away from you, you lose basically, a huge percentage of your bodily autonomy, unfortunately, in the eyes of the law. So some things to consider when looking out for job opportunities, including in North American countries, is the employer asking for inappropriate photos or a description that is irrelevant to the position? Is one of the requirements of your employment that your government documents like passport will be seized? How did the employer contact you? Is there more information from previous employees, like on
LinkedIn, for example, they have reviews of people who have worked at a company. So what do those reviews say? Are they positive or are they negative? If you will be traveling, have all documents been cross-referenced? So do you have the visas that you need in order to travel there safely and then come back? Under how long? Getting those things is really important. And having these things also accessible to people who might not be fully literate or cannot communicate with the language to the country that they're going to be working in. This is also a reminder not to judge any of the people that find themselves in these circumstances, because when I did watch the film, I went to the comment section and there was a overwhelming amount of commentary that was really disturbing, coming from people saying, oh, if these women know that this is happening, why would they even go there? If you find yourself in a position completely lacking alternative sources, plus if you don't know how to read, how do you really know what is going on? Sure, the news might describe, oh, woman, returned burned alive from domestic work overseas, but how are you really supposed to understand these situations when you are desperate for employment, desperate to survive in a place where capitalism is kind of taking over the world? And how do you educate yourself? So yeah, definitely do not judge those who find themselves in those situations. And then here is the full film. I don't know if I would like to show a clip, just because some of these clips can be very, very intense and very triggering. But this is the senator that I mentioned earlier, who plays a really big part in the film and a huge advocate against labor trafficking. And oh no, I didn't want to play it. And then my citations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I've actually learned a lot from your presentation because I haven't seen this film before. So thank you for
Oh, I'm so happy. Yeah, thank you.
what would you say if like what was the most important point that made you like wanted to talk about this documentary? Like what inspired you?
I guess because after watching it, there was like a serious period of reflection where I was like, whoa, this, what these women are, what's happening to these women is really overlapping issues. Like, yeah, we can say this was labor trafficking because they went to do domestic work, but the torture that they endured still falls under sexual abuse categories. So it's really interesting how these things overlap with each other. And then when you have to consider poverty and the dire situations that people are coming from. So I guess there's a term for when these things kind of overlap, but I guess how interconnected this stuff is. Like, even if you're not going, even if we're talking about the root of sex trafficking, there's going to be people out there that are saying sex work is still work. Then we have to reconsider, oh, does this then count as labor trafficking technically? So I don't know. The overlap there was really what had me interested.
That's very interesting, in fact, because like now we all talk about like sexual trafficking or labor trafficking, like we all categorize it, but in fact it's all combined and everything, like things happen at the same time. So yeah, thank you so much for your presentation. And who's next? Stella. Stella, would you please share your screen?
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to share it. Then.
I think on the bottom thing there's a green button says share screen. Do you see that?
I see it. So like it's telling me to like open up my system preferences on my laptop, and I don't know what that is.
It's okay, take your time. I'll try to. Stella, I think I have your stuff on my computer. Do you want me to share it and you can talk about it?
Yeah,
Using my
that would be appreciated. Thank you.
Mhm. Yep. You see? Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, you can start whenever you're ready.
Okay. So I did my research on just kind of like policies around the world for human trafficking. And the first thing I want to like talk about is just like the United Nations, like the Palermo Protocol. I think Bill kind of touched on it in his thing, but it was passed by the United Nations in 2000, and it was part like I think they passed it during a convention against the transnational organized crime, and it was the first legal document that kind of like internationally like it was the first legal document that came up with like an internationally accepted definition of human trafficking, which is really important because it allowed like all the countries who ratified this document to like be able to criminalize like human trafficking and kind of like allow like them to help these victims. And yeah, the countries that ratified this treaty had to declare it like human trafficking at the time and develop anti-trafficking laws, which like must provide aid to human trafficking victims. And I did Google some prevalent regions of human trafficking, which is like mostly Asian countries and just countries in the Pacific, and including Africa too. So I kind of try to like jump around to like different countries to just research policies, and I mainly like touched on the U.S. because that's I just wanted to gain more information on just like U.S. policies. So some of like the U.S. policies include Victims of Trafficking and Violence Protection Act of 2000. Oh, by the way, like the U.S. also ratified like the protocol thing, so they're also part of that. Yeah, the act basically defined forms of trafficking, and it created campaigns to combat human trafficking through awareness, and it protects victims and prosecutes traffickers. Also, like a lot of like these policies in different countries, they kind of like do the same thing, like they all provide aid and they just, yeah. Oh, and the U.S. also has this act. It's the Trafficking Victims Protection Reauthorization Act of 2017. Basically, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security kind of developed this victim screening protocols at like the federal, state, and local level. So basically, like police officers and official authorities, they're trained to kind of like see like the red flags for victims and stuff, so they can spot like the victims and who the traffickers are. And it also encourages officers to send these victims to like help them like therapy and like these other services rather than kind of like blaming them, because a lot of victims, they're like heavily addicted to like substances. And so instead of like blaming them and like, putting them to jail, they're also like that kind of encourages them to help these officers, help these victims to seek help. Yeah, there's also like other acts that just help victims just receive additional benefits. I also try to look at human trafficking in China and, South Africa, and they all kind of have the same thing. I think that kind of surprised me a little bit was that, like China and South Africa, and they all are part of like the UN protocol. Like they've all like ratified and signed that. And I don't know, like, but because a lot of human trafficking happens in like countries like, like Asian countries like India, stuff like that. And, India is also part kind of like has these anti-trafficking laws. And it kind of surprised me that there were so many people in India that are getting trafficked. And I think it's maybe because like I went into this not having a lot of knowledge about it. And I naturally thought, oh, if there's like anti-trafficking laws, then like why is there still trafficking? And, you know, like during my research, it shows like in places like China, a lot of police officers are kind of bribed or they're also part of like, a human trafficking organization, which is why they're able to kind of get away, not get away, but like kind of bring so many people into the trafficking organization because they have people in like higher up places. And yeah, that's kind of, yeah.
Thank you so much. Actually, me and Ada, we were talking about your assignment because we are like, it's so sweet. It's handwritten and it's like color design and everything. So
I don't, well, okay, so I'm not like a very good like typer on the laptop. So I prefer to have my notes handwritten. Yeah.
yeah, there's no problem with it. Like I actually want to have like the skill to write on a paper. My notes are so messy, I cannot do that. Well, thank you so much for all your research. And it's so interesting. It's like, yeah, all the case studies you did were very, as you said, surprising to know about China and South Africa. Well, thank you for your research. And last but not least, I'm so sorry seeing you for not putting you on the PowerPoint, but yeah, you can share your screen whenever you're ready.
Yeah, because I'm just write a PDF document, so I just can introduce my project by briefly introduce. So is that okay?
Of course, no problem.
Okay. So my topic is mental health of child abuse, and the
Wait,
child abuse.
sorry. Do you have your stuff on your computer so you can like share screen with everyone?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry for interrupting.
I already share screen. Do you see the screen? I already share.
Do you want me to share it? So you don't have to. Okay.
Can you see my screen now? The mental health of child abuse. And the child abuse refers to any act or certain act of by parents or other person in a position of trust that can result in harm, potential harm, or the treat harm to the child. And it also can take many forms, like including the physical, emotional, and sexual abuse. And child abuse can cause a significant and lasting negative effect on a child's physical, emotional, and psychological well-being. So I did some research that there are 3 types of child abuse, which are the physical, emotional, and sexual. So here is some statistics on child abuse. And for the physical abuse, around 1 in 4 children worldwide are intimidated to experience the physical abuse. And emotional abuse says the data on emotional abuse is often more challenging to quantify, but it is considered to be the prevalent issue. The last one is sexual abuse. It's unfortunately in 1 in 10 children globally experience sexual abuse. Here are some impact on the mental health for the children, and like the depression, fear, and those are emotional consequences. And it also have like behavior outcomes like self-harm. Those are the negative impact for the mental health of children. And the long-term impact for the trafficking, which is like the psychological effect of child abuse, can extend well into adulthood, influencing the emotional stability, relationship, and the quality of life. And for the mental health, most of child after the child abuse or the child trafficking, they will have some conditions like depression or PTSD, and those who are hurt the mental health development of the children, and also they also have some unresolved trauma can impact the ability from the children, like the healthy relationship, the challenging trust, and the communication skills for the child. For the long-term effect, the child abuse impact the ability to form and maintain a healthy relationship, like trust issues, and the fear to make a relationship with other people, and they have many of child abuse turn to the substance like the drug. They have like cope with the emotional pain. So the protective factor of child abuse is it's good to assess the mental health service and having the care and the support the relationship of the child, like their parents and family members, or they can against the negative effect of child abuse and give the child more love and can help child develop a sense of safety, trust, and make a good emotional well-being and have the confidence with their life. Also, it can have some educational program like raising about the child abuse, taking some educational programs for the children, parents, teachers, and the communities. And those can help the individuals recognize the behavior and understand the importance of child abuse. They also have the pro-mental health parents practice, like to educate their parents about the positive parenting techniques can help prevent child abuse, provide some communication, stress management, and empathy with the skills that need to create the healthy environment for the children. And so in conclusion, the mental trauma of child abuse is a collective responsibility, and the impact of children abuse resonance far beyond the immediate harm, shaping the emotional, psychological, and physical well-being of survivors through their lives. So it is important for these issues. Also, I think this child abuse is the social topic that it has big significance of protecting the most member of the society. And also as an individual, communities and societies, and let us to stand together to ensure that every child has safe environment and healthy environment with their development, and that the stairs of the past can be replaced with hope and a bright future.
Thank you so much. I was so surprised. I saw your assignment earlier. I was like, Oh my God, that's a lot of research that you have done. So thank you so much for all your research. And I think that's everyone. And please give yourself a round of applause. It's not an easy task to do. So thank you all for your hard work. Wait, Ali, you're here. Oh yeah. Ali, we need to come back to you. Can you share your screen? Ah, okay. That's okay, it's fine. I see your stuff on the Google Classroom thing. Okay, so let's move on to our next thing. Sorry, let me just open my PowerPoint. Okay, let's move on to our reflections. So I think most of you have done our the assignment, the course end reflection thing, but I still want to ask you to share it today in our live session. So what were some of your favorite activities during the past 21 days? Who wants to share? How about let's do alphabetical order again. Amy?
So, my favorite part is my favorite part is hearing Homayra talk about the real cases, and seeing real victims share what they know and have experienced firsthand. And I think that touches me the most.
Yeah, Homayra always has some like very interesting stories. She is like in the front line of everything. Yeah, she has close contact with everyone, and actually she told me like much more interesting stories, but it's like more scary. So maybe in the future we will have more chances to talk with her and she can share more. So who wants to who's next in the alley? But I don't think he can talk right now. So Bill?
think I think the movies were my favorite part because they were they were I'd say they were like more effective than just talking about um hero processes. More concrete like the victims and how the process of trafficking, how the process of putting people into different trafficking situations.
Okay. I can barely hear you, but I think I got like, the point.
I could say it again if you couldn't hear me. Okay, my favorite part was the movies, since I think they were really more effective than just talking about things in theoretical senses about how human trafficking works and how people are lured and the struggles that victims go through.
Yeah, right. And all the documentaries and how Kat did more research because she got inspired by like movies and documentaries. Yeah, I think you're very right. You know, it's an idea from Homayra because she is like how do you say a judge in a movie festival, but like a host. Yeah, but like she shared the movies with me and Ada, and Ada, she watched all of them and chose like some most important ones to share with you guys. And yeah, thank you, Ada. Well, yeah. Um, let's move on to Kat.
Hey, so I kind of agreed with Bill on the side of, not so much talking about hypothetical, but what really stood out to me is whenever Ada shared those clips of her interview with a human trafficking survivor, and something else that I really hadn't thought about, I guess, because I don't live I haven't had this, this type of severe experience, and also I'm not I'm a lady. I'm a woman. I've always lived in my entire life that way, and so I had never considered the effects of sex trafficking on male victims who might then grow up with intense hatred or intense feelings towards homophobia, or sorry, that are like of homophobic tone, I guess, or coming from that. So it's just never something that I thought about, and it was pretty impactful. And I would love to have the opportunity to hear from not necessarily more survivors or more people who have endured this, because it is terrible stuff, but hearing from real people who have undergone this. And even though the film the 12,000 was based on a real experience, specifically this girl Sona, which personally was my favorite film, it definitely did not compare to hearing the actual words come out of the survivors' mouths. So I would love to see more interviews like that if possible.
Mhm. It was a really valuable opportunity to watch the interview that Ada had. And
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, I was very impressed by that interview as well. So I'm pretty sure in the future you will have a lot of opportunities, because currently now I'm in a camp, the camp that Homayra talked about yesterday in her session. So I'm currently here. And then all the kids are survivors. Unfortunately, they only speak French, so I can barely communicate. But I'm pretty sure there are like more survivors that we can talk with and share experience or maybe help and everything. So yeah, thank you so much. Mm, Stella, would you like to share?
I agree with like everything that like all the previous speakers said so far. Like I definitely agree. Like I think the films and the documentaries, they really kind of made an impact on me, because I like really like films and movies, and I think watching that, it kind of put like a whole bunch of, because like looking at all the presentations that you and Ada have like kind of presented to us, like I could see the facts and everything, but like it didn't really like dawn on me until I watched this movie, and then like I kind of saw, and like with the same thing at the interviews, like it didn't actually like set on me that wow, like this is real, this is happening like everywhere, until like I kind of saw like the interviewers and just like their kind of like reactions and their like just like it's so real, and it didn't seem real when like you were just like listing statistics on like a slide. I think, yeah, I think that was definitely.
Thank you so much. Um, last but not least, Xingyi.
So my favorite part in this class, which like the documentary and movies that we watch in class, because I think those visual experiences have offered me the range of emotions and insights, and some of the short video have clearly show the issues like human trafficking and concern. Also, the movies have provided the thought-provoking themes that allow me to engage with different aspects of human experience. And they also have some data, the fact in the movie and the documentary, and give me more emotional feeling, and that can use that to help raise awareness within my community and advocate for the support organization of the human trafficking. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I see that the documentaries really had huge impact on many of you. So yeah, I'm very glad. Next, looking back at your introductions where there was a question of what you look forward to, have you met the goal that you have set in at the start? I remember like many of you wrote about to gain more knowledge. So I'm pretty sure all of you did achieve that. So yeah, we'll just skip that. And this is basically repeating the first one. So, okay, I'm gonna move on to some future opportunities. As we mentioned it in the brochure before this program, there's an opportunity for you guys to join our global online team. So the online opportunity is an advantage of it. It's not solely restricted in your area. So it's not like you're part of Future Unchained Toronto or Future Unchained Europe or US or anything. You're part of the Future Unchained group. So if you're interested in to use your knowledge and to do some further work, you can of course join our team, and here are some jobs that you could apply to. So the first, it would be content producer. So it's like there'll be blogs for you to write. So for example, your works, your manager assignment could be one. It could be published to the website with your name on it. So your article will be published to all our website, including Future Unchained, the main thing, Toronto, and the Europe site. So yeah, it's a very good opportunity for you to express what you think and everything, and to most importantly have your voice on the internet. So for all the other people who are interested in this to see your idea and everything. Secondly, the graphic designers. It's like posters, Instagram posts. Do you remember Chloe? She's part of the graphic designer, and she designed a lot of posters and Instagram posts before this workshop already. So it's like basically using your creativity to create like the posters, and the content will be from the content producers. They will provide you the articles. All you have to do is to format it to make it pretty. And yeah, and also to make posters if we have some workshops, events like this. So yeah. And also we have the social media manager. It's like managing websites for those who are good at technology. You can design those websites, fixing them and doing tech things. And also if we have some articles, you're also in charge of like what's the word, uploading. Yeah. Lastly, we have this project manager, which is an leadership opportunity that Future Unchained will provide to you. So it would be on top of those basic roles that like content producer and those stuff. It's like on top because we don't have a lot of like projects. So it would be something like if we have an event like this in the future, like workshops, you can be part of our team to design the Google Classrooms, to talk with Homayra, like to design the courses and to be a TA and everything. I think it's a very valuable experience. So you can learn a lot because it's like a massive amount of work that you have to design everything and the tech things and everything. So yeah, if you're interested, please email Ada or me. Feel free to contact. If you have any more questions, just ask. And next, we have opportunities from Innocence and Danger. So Homayra had left a message saying that feel free to contact her if you want to become an ambassador of her organization. So she will provide you some more information and keep you updated on what she's doing recently. So for example, now she is having a project with the Ukrainian orphans. So yeah, as you can see, I was with them this morning, the picture on the left. They're all Ukrainian refugees that their parents yeah are for some reasons not there or not responsible for them. So they're identified as orphans, and they're under good care of Homayra. They're in like this area where they have their own rooms and everything, and they receive education. It's very sweet, and yeah, she'll have a lot of projects like this. So if you sign up for this, she'll keep you updated, and hopefully if you ever come to like France or Switzerland, she can bring you to the camps and meet the kids and everything. So yeah. So, oh, and also she will be able to provide you certificates if you're interested. So yeah, please contact me or Ada. We can connect you with Homayra for this matter. And yeah, do you guys have any questions or comment, like anything throughout this course from me, Ada, Homayra? No? Okay. No questions. So thank you everyone for all your contributions in the past 3 weeks. It wasn't an easy program, and thank you all for your hard work. And also the certificates are ready, I think. So wait, let me just, so if you want to screenshot this, or yeah, you can contact me or Ada by email or WeChat or Instagram or anything. So feel free to contact us for anything. And please stay in the Google Classroom because we will like keep you updated for certificates if you have some problems downloading it. And yeah. Oh, and also please contact us for the rec letters or volunteer hours. Wait, I see a chat. Oh, okay. Wait, not bye yet. So, hey, let me share the link with you guys. So, I think the link will be up by now in the Google Classroom, but not to Stella, to everyone. Okay. Here's the link. So the password is your own birthday to receive your own certificate. And yeah, and that will be the end of this workshop. Thank you so much, and hope you enjoy the rest of your summer vacation. Thank you guys. Bye.